I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I've kind of lost track myself. But Ian, this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Hey there Babylonians, my name is Songs of Raids and we're back with another legendary guide for you for Outriders. And I'm sorry, I had to include that clip. It was just so iconic for us to be talking about a revolver that also has the name of Lucky and just instantly springs to your mind. So yes, as I said, this is the Lucky revolver. We're doing a sidearm. So the tier 3 mod that's on this is called Pinball. What it does is every time you score a critical hit, it will then bounce off and hit 4 nearby enemies for double the base damage of what your revolver is doing. Which sounds great on paper, it really does, but unfortunately, because it just goes off the base damage, it doesn't quite scale as high as we would like it to, and it just ends up falling a little bit short. But the gameplay in the background, you get to see it off a little bit, so hopefully that gives you a better idea as to what you're getting yourself into. So we haven't looked at sidearms before, so what is the difference between using a sidearm and using an assault rifle or a shotgun or something like that for your main weapon? Well, sidearms are there for you to fall back on. They have unlimited ammo. I feel like in Outriders you tend to have more than enough ammo, especially when you look at assault rifles and SMGs. When you look at shotguns, maybe that's a bit difficult because of the bulwark and how fast that goes through ammo, but most of the time you seem to be fine. Ammo crates are aplenty, so what do you need to worry about? Well, if you do end up going for a shotgun build, you'll want a good secondary that you can fall back on and rely on, and I do feel like the Lucky can actually do that in some situations. Now, the range is a bit pitiful, but that's the same with every single sidearm as far as I can tell. But what makes this one good is that it's high base damage, the mod that allows it to bounce between people to be able to keep that DPS going, and then just having a bit of flexibility in the second mod slot for you to decide whether you want to go for a bit of survivability or if you want a bit more DPS, or essentially what you want to get out of this gun. So how have I set up my Lucky revolver? Well, I feel like the DPS is high enough already for the pistol that it is. As you can see, it is making easy work. It is hitting over 100k for crits, which in challenge tier 10 is more than enough. That's all I need to worry about. I'm not going to be falling back on my pistol any time soon in CT15, so there's that to consider. Not really, but I've gone for survivability. Now, if I have to fall back on a pistol or something that has unlimited ammo, I'm going to be trying to find a way to be able to make myself survivable. And in this case, I've gone for the Golem Rising perk to be able to, every time I get a kill, to be able to encase myself in that armor, just like a Devastator would, and just keep myself going. And that way I don't have to worry about the damage as much. I can find a way to heal myself. I can push forward to be able to get a few more kills. I can get a reload in, and I feel like that's the best way to run this. I'm sure there are other ways if you wanted to keep the DPS going and you wanted to make this into an actual primary gun, then you'd probably want your Perpetuum Mobile, you'd want your ways to be able to reload, you'd potentially put your ultimate bleeding bullets on there for your Vampiric Mag, etc, etc. But me personally, I wanted survivability, and that's the way I've gone, and it worked out perfectly for this. But just be aware that the range is so pitiful that you shouldn't rely on this. Another thing that I found while using this revolver is that it actually does have some view kick, and it has some recoil, which is quite surprising when you look at like the main the weapons that are actually in this game. It's just kind of like a bloom for like almost like a hip fire kind of area that just gets wider and wider, similar to like games in Mass Effect when you have constant shooting or something along that. This one's different. You have the area where the bullet can go, but then it will visibly kick upwards. And it's quite jarring for the first couple of shots, especially at medium range, and you're not prepared for it. But when you get into close range, you don't necessarily need to worry about it. It's not much. It's just a little tiny pull down on your analog stick or on your mouse, and it just compensates for it most of the time. So that's great. Would I say this is a good gun? I do stand by the fact that I've said that this is the best backup in the whole game, and that's one, because it doesn't have much competition, and two, because it actually is. It's going to take a little bit of beating, But like I said, you're never really going to fall back onto a revolver or a pistol anytime soon. So would I recommend it? Yeah, I would recommend it, but I would recommend it, 1, to go on your class, 2, because it looks cool, and 3, because it is actually a fun playstyle to actually go out. And I had a blast trying to get the gameplay for this. Now, I realise that not every single expedition is a fun one to be able to try and do this on. There's one, I can't remember what it's called, it's one of the minimum of level 4, the name has eluded me, but the distance when you first start that and everyone else that's got rifles is so far that you actually can't get a meaningful hit. You can't finish anyone off and you can't get any healing, so you're just a sitting duck and you're just getting taken out. If we look past that and we go onto like the beast ones, or we go onto Chemplant, which is what you can see in the background, it gets a little bit more close quarters and it definitely becomes doable, and then that's when it kind of shines. You just end up having so much fun just thinking it's a spaghetti western, going around with a badass looking revolver and just having a lot of fun and a very good time. And like I said, this is, out of all the guns that I've done so far, this was definitely the most fun that I've had. So when it comes to the scrapping or the keeping of this gun, without a doubt in my mind, I can genuinely say that the gun is what makes this. The mod is okay. It's not a tier 3 in my mind. If they ever do like really look at balancing and all that, I would genuinely say this one needs a bit of a rebalance for it to be kind of unique. It feels too much along the damage link kind of lines of things. Also, it could do with some scaling, but genuinely the gun is just that much fun to use, and the fact that it's a good revolver, it's a solid revolver, it does a lot of damage, it just makes it worthwhile to have on your person at all times. Even if you don't necessarily use it, it just looks good and it's just there, and it's a revolver, and everyone loves revolvers, let's be honest. So yes, in that case, the gun is the best part. I wish it had a little bit more range, I wish it had a better tier 3 perk, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's such a good gun and it's such a good fun to have a mess around with. And in that case, that kind of wraps it up for me. I hope you've enjoyed some of the gameplay that's in the background, showing it off, where it has its ammo, where it has an ammo skill on it, and where it doesn't have an ammo skill, and it just kind of shows off the range, it goes to show off the strengths of the gun, and where it kind of falls short. But if you have learned something useful, I would love it if you could hit like and a subscribe on the channel. That would be greatly appreciated by myself and the other guys. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself well, and I'll see you on the next one.